Retroactive, big up Retroactive. New episode from Retroactive, a new clip from Retroactive. Actually, let me change the channel again. I keep forgetting to do this. Big up Blood Clot Retroactive. Big up Blood Clot Retroactive. Big up Blood Clot Retroactive. Joe Rogan's Mothership is crashing. Joe Rogan's Mothership is crashing. Let's play this clip.
I tell you, I tried to jack off on Reddit. I tell you that as I opened it, first thing was like, Shane Gillis fucking sucks now. I was like, no. I still got one off, but it was a tough one.
There's a lot of mean, angry people out there, Shane.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not happy in their life.
For sure.
That is
Well, it finally happened. Watching all these...
I do love that. I do love the smugness of it all now. The look. Look at that look on Rogan's face. It does really tickle my mind, tickle my brain, tickle my nostrils at the smugness of Rogan and stuff, right? Like, everyone that's hating me, everyone that criticizes me, everyone that's not a fan of what I do, my work, my comedy, my views, my lifestyle, everyone that disapproves of everything I do, they're just miserable. It can't be because they just don't agree with me. It can't be because they have an opinion that my comedy sucks. It can't be because they think my podcast sucks and they, whatever, or they don't get the hype. Every person that does not like me is just miserable. It's such an interesting cope, or it's such an interesting interpretation of people who have a difference of opinion to the work that you do. If they're not sycophants, if they're not fucking stands, if they're not reply guys, right? If they're not trying to fucking gargle your nutsack, they just have to be miserable. There's no other reason why they wouldn't like. Why else wouldn't they like me? It has to be because they're miserable. Has to be. Honestly, Rogan is really interesting in that regard.
Sure. That is
Well, it finally happened. Watching all these comedy podcasts finally broke me down biologically. A plague of sorts will be joining the audio today, so enjoy. Of course, trolls exist online. Every person who uploads anything can attest. But to paint every single person with an opinion as a bridge-dwelling troll, many who are your own ex-fans, sorry Joe, it just doesn't add up. And I think to myself, if the haters hate their lives and Joe is so happy with his life, why is Joe the one who makes this face if Shane merely says that dreaded R word?
Exactly.
Ironically, Joe probably has 1,000+ hours complaining about online comments, yet he doesn't read them and he's impossible to get to. He's got a black belt in his brain.
all of the negative Reddit commenters like...
He's got a black belt in his brain. Is brilliant.
You guys need to go outside.
Touch grass, babes.
They're non-binary, all of them.
Wow, alright, that's really the angle he's going to take on his special reviews and losing fans. Okay, the people who podcast for a living telling the 99% to go outside. You mean the same 99% that goes outside to contribute to society most days of the year, all day, unlike millionaire comedians in their mansions, studios, and private jets, which are, yep, all inside. I guess Burn the Boats is about as good as Chopin, and so was Jokes by Whitney Cummings. The artist's contribution is above all, of course. Maybe they can start with cleaning or cooking food for themselves. Baby steps. As many have pointed out recently, the Brendan Schaubification of each comedian is truly something. It's like a tsunami wave building height through...
That's a really good point, actually. I don't know who did say that, actually, but whoever did say that, well done to you. The Brendan Schaubification of every comedian has been funny to watch in real time. They've all ended up the same place he's at. With the subreddit or community that hates what they hates what they do, hates who they are, and constantly reminds them of how much they suck.
Through endless comedians instead of water for some reason. Even two bears can't reach 100k views in a day now. What is going on?
You got anybody in mind? Nick Fuentes? He could probably win in a few years.
Hold on, let's talk.
Oh, and Joe Rogan just soft-launched that guy. Not good, Joseph. How extreme do their views have to be before Joe thinks they're not a good presidential candidate? Elephant Graveyard was right that he's the master of the new guy, but Joe's like an infinite mirror of new guys at this point. I never know what we're gonna get next. And now there's a protest at Joe's motherland, the ship. Well, instead of it being a political protest, something Joe could sweep away as the woke hater brigade experiencing the walled garden effect. Nope, we get a Cartman inflatable, among many other anthropomorphic horrors, all just claiming he's taken over the comedy scene that was there and just want to keep Austin funny, without Diet Alex Jones. And the way Joe does his Kinnison impression in a lot of his specials, well, you can see how one might correlate the two. Speaking of, that's the amount of sides it takes to divide the world.
Gavin Newsom, he's not going to put up a
Of course
plaque.
he would. Of course he would. He copies everything that Trump does. He even tries to talk like Trump on Twitter. You don't think that he would put up plaques that talk about how corrupt Trump was and about how terrible, and he was quoted as lying over 5,000 times by Washington Post,
Yeah, but he doesn't have to put up a plaque. That'll just be everywhere.
I mean,
You know
but
what I
he
mean?
could put that on.
And Shane tries to say, isn't that what everyone's just going to say? No plaque required? But Joe flies on through. He's aerodynamic. Shane and Matt's podcast survived the everyone invites politicians on for PR phase, not joining in, not changing their show. In his act, he's always trying to dig at both sides, but particularly the right, and he's Fox News dad. He's basically doing the same with Joe's new iteration.
Despite all, President Trump would get reelected in a landslide and save America in all caps. That's a plaque in the White House.
He's not beating the dictator charges. This
Exactly,
is like
exactly.
an dictatorship.
Exactly.
Crazy.
I'm so happy Shane is still around. It's not going to do much because Rogan's very much ingrained in his opinions now. He's like this weird, like, like if you call Rogan a right winger, he gets offended by it. I don't know why. It's strange. A lot of these guys are like this. Like they espouse or they spew right wing rhetoric, but then when you label them right wing or then when you label them MAGA, they get offended. It's like, isn't that what? Like, why wouldn't you be? I don't know. Whatever. So we've lost Rogan, right? Rogan's lost. He's purely, he loves Trump. Nothing Trump can do can be wrong. He finds it hard to call him out. Blah 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 blah. Seems to know all of the things to attack the left with and stuff, but doesn't seem to have any of the same smoke for the Republicans. But it is nice that he still has Shane Gillis in his circle, because he seems to be one of the only ones willing to call him out or to make light or to bring some, to make some jokes about the right and stuff in his presence and make him squirm a little bit. It's really important we have that. Again, it won't change Rogan's opinion, because I still think, it's more to do with his age and his growing wealth that he's leaned more to the right because of obviously the tax breaks and shit. And usually guys, when they get older anyway, it's not really common for a lot of rich guys that attain a lot of money and success to become more liberal. They usually become more conservative. So it's no surprise to see him go down that route. But it's nice that Shane Gillis is still there to kind of, make some jokes.
Somebody needs to tell him, like, hey, this is not good. You can't do that.
Joe starts to question everything, but he has to look at the ground and say it about 10 decibels lower than his usual speech.
Because then other people could do that too.
Cocked.
And then the White House stops being the White House. And
Joe tries to disbelieve and protect the chosen one. But yes, Trump wrote that. Of course, Joe is now not happy about that, or ICE, and is pretending like he never said he helped the outcome.
I've told Rogan this too, like on the cold plunge. This is where I'm at on the cold plunge. The cold plunge and like jump into cold water was like a dessert in college football. Like,
thanks, Brendan. That's the ice I was talking about. The rich people ice. You jump in so you have something difficult to do that day. Even more revered acts like Chappelle or Gervais have also begun to show a little rust. The jokes aren't as funny on their surface or as logical if analyzed after. Or in Dave Chappelle's case, jokes about being a landlord and making rent unaffordable, except he really does own most of his town.
I be walking down the street minding my own business and they come up to me with their concerns. Hey, congratulations on buying the whole goddamn town. But you need to start thinking about some affordable housing around here. Well, actually, champ, I can afford my house. That sounds like some shit you need to worry about.
Their peak material is long gone. Maybe an hour special like this would be interesting from Ricky instead. Is Tom Hanks available?
I was on stage not long ago in the States, mad because I said, well, maybe Puff will get off. And I said, I hope so. And the crowd was like, boo.
Funny joke, I think that was. Anyway, Very relatable, David. Keep it up. Back to the book of
I'm
Joseph.
sure he's a very nice guy. Like Peter Thiel. People
He's a
that
nice
know
guy.
him,
Had
he's
him
a
on the
nice guy.
podcast.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
Should the human race survive?
I've been to Peter's house twice.
Impressive. Thanks, Joe. What else you got? Well, I guess have Whitney Cummings on the podcast, as we just saw. She then went on a massive rant at YouTubers, as her podcast numbers don't exactly add up compared to any other YouTuber or podcaster. 1 million views with barely any likes and comments. Well, according to Whitney, she's using Google Ads.
I would use robots to make my podcast metrics, inflating numbers artificially on YouTube. Or I'm gonna look you in the face right now, and yes, I'm sitting on a booster seat. Thank you for doing this. You guys being this obsessed with me, honestly,
Obsession?
has boosted my self-esteem.
Okay, it's not about obsession on the internet. The spectacle is...
I love Whitney so much. I love Whitney so much. You guys are just obsessed with me. That's like it's like an adolescent's defense, isn't it? It's like a defense of like a 13-year-old girl. You guys are just obsessed with me. It's like, what? No, we're accusing you of faking your views. We're accusing you of buying views because it doesn't make sense how you get 1 million views on your episode, but you have less than 500 comments. That doesn't make sense, you know? That doesn't make sense. It's clear that you don't, you know what I mean? Like, how do you have more views on your solo episodes than you do with episodes with big guests? That doesn't make any sense. You guys are just jealous. You guys are jealous because I'm just so awesome. And then the explanation, I'm buying Google ads. If you could buy Google ads and it could get you 1 million views, everyone would do it, mate. Everyone would be doing it. It doesn't work like that. Honestly, you gotta love Whitney. You gotta love Whitney.
Okay, it's not about obsession on the internet. The spectacle is making extra people momentarily look over.
Are methods that were presented to us, and we were guided through the process.
Oh, nice. We can tell you what we do
from YouTube.
which is...
So she's paying Google ads for millions in reach exposure, I assume, which is not cheap. Unless her sponsors pay major money. Google ads would cost more than the AdSense the show generates from views, which is even funnier than what she was defending herself from. Good job, Whitney. Finally, Schaubification might really be a real thing. That makes you wonder how big the audience actually is for her podcast. The fighter and the kid size, or that'd be fitting. Her special jokes has a trailer with 80,000 views from 3 years ago. Maybe that's before the expert Google Ads strategy was deployed. So that's why the numbers were being questioned, compared to say a Jessica Curson with 1 million subs, 60k views, 2.5k likes, 117 comments, none accusing her of anything. Well, we can put that mystery to bed, and oh wait, instead of going, I don't do that, and then just moving on with the podcast, she then uses her expert YouTube knowledge to explain to us all for about the next hour.
If someone with a podcast sees my comment and is like, there's not 50,000 comments, people comment, it's like, maybe you get a lot of comments because the people who listen to your podcast fight in the comment section all day. Maybe the people who listen to my podcast have a purpose in life. Maybe they are sober. Putting it out public, you don't want to fix it. You don't want to correct me. You don't think I suck. You're just trying to make friends.
You're insulting Joe's fans too, which you can't do that to King Comedy, okay? That's not nice.
It's called fraud. YouTube would have taken my channel by now, but we're going to keep logic out of this. Okay. Weird. When someone insults you, they accidentally reveal how powerful they think you are.
Well, yeah, it's not a known issue that continues on all platforms or anything. No. The entertainment industry has a perfect reputation. Thank you for reminding me, Whitney.
If my name on your title makes you get numbers, wouldn't the actual me do pretty well? Even if it's people hating me? Which is it? The only way to get out of that jam is for you to be like, no, your name didn't make our podcast do well because we use bots. I am sorry that trashing me is the only way anyone will listen to you talk. By the way, I relate to that also.
Maybe Whitney can address Too Lazy to Tries videos next. That would be something. Channels like his have high views no matter who is in the title.
I must be so powerful and inescapable that people have to try and take me down.
Podcasters say other people talk about other people too much. It's just too funny. Otherwise, there are thousands of YouTubers out there that cover other
Yeah, big up Josie, exactly. All of these female comics, Kerry Feehan, which I'm a fan of, she has 30 people watching her podcast live, but has 100k subscribers. That Chrissy Mayer does it too. Yeah, I don't know. I have a little bit of sympathy for her. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be where, as much as I dislike Whitney as well, especially for her treatment of fucking Ashley as well. It's not been nice to witness from the outside looking in. But just in general, she seems like a little bit of a, little bit of a psycho, let's say, right? With Ashley Cummings. I mean, sorry, not Ashley Cummings, Whitney Cummings. Ashley Cummings, fucking brilliant. Big up Ashley Cummings. Whitney seems to be like a psycho, right? But to be fair to her, and to be fair to other people like Kerry Feehan and others who buy views, I have a little bit of sympathy for them. This shit ain't easy, man. This shit ain't easy to build up from the ground up, to get genuine people to actually check out what you're doing. And everyone starts from zero. And it's very difficult to start from zero. It's very difficult to go live, to put out a video and it get low views. It's hard to do again and again and again and again and again. Eventually, if you do it, if you keep consistent and you're really good at what you do and you get an audience, that hopefully you will pop and blow up one day. But the beginning stages of it are very hard. And I think it's probably harder for these people because they've got a bit of a name already, right? They've got a bit of celebrity. I know Whitney's celebrity is a bit, and it's a bit difficult to obviously translate to internet, but they've got some name. They've got like a name about them. So it's probably harder for them to start on YouTube live streaming, to start on YouTube podcasting, whatever, and then start from the bottom up. They don't start from the ground up. They don't want that. They want to have, they kind of see themselves the same way they used to view themselves in like mainstream media. Like, Whitney Cummings is a good example. She had that show, right? Two Broke Girls or whatever she had, and she had her own show. On her own show with her on there and stuff, right? She's written a lot of stuff. So she probably thinks of herself in a certain way. But then when you go and do YouTube stuff, you're starting from scratch, basically. When you go and do podcasting or you're doing content, you're starting from scratch. You have to accept that whatever numbers you used to get on a network aren't the numbers that you're ever going to do on your YouTube because they don't translate whatsoever. So I have sympathy or empathy for people who do buy views to kind of soothe their own insecurities, because the honest truth is, even Josie, right? Josie in the comments can see it. Like, people can see it. The viewers know you're faking it. So if it makes you feel better that you're buying the views to make you feel better, it's okay. I don't have a problem with it. We know what the deal is, right? Everyone can check Whitney Cummings' channel and know that she definitely doesn't get, her podcast isn't that popular to be getting 1 million views per episode, especially when the podcast bubble is burst. No one believes that. But if it makes Whitney Cummings feel better about herself, if it makes Whitney Cummings, have a somewhat better life, makes her sleep better at night, go ahead with it. That's my unpopular opinion when it comes to buying views and people faking the funk. I don't personally do it myself. It's not something that I'd ever encourage. I think it kind of builds worse bad habits. It's also, you kind of need to sort of like train yourself a little bit in the suck of it all and grinding and getting out of the mud. But if it genuinely does make you feel better about yourself, given how hard it is to get people to pay attention to anything you post online, whether it's a tweet, whether it's a fucking post, a video, whatever, if it makes you feel better, go for it. But what you shouldn't do is try and lie to me or lie to the audience, Buy your fucking fake views, but don't lie, If someone asks you a question about the views, just ignore it. Fuck it, just ignore it. But don't try and convince us that you're actually getting 1 million views per episode, Like, come on, like, do us a favor. If you're gonna lie, just lie to yourself. You don't need to lie to us, because everyone knows you're faking the fuck. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? I don't know. I just because I know how hard it is, like, to get attention. Like, it's really hard to get people to give a shit about what you do, and it's really hard to start from like 0 viewers, 1 viewer, 2, so on and so forth. So if you want to buy the views to make yourself better, to soothe your heart, cool, go ahead.
Comedy Clips Daily. It's objectively not the Whitney Cummings show, but she's free to feel as such.
Its own economy. If these former comics.
The failed comic defense. YouTubers are simply covering whatever the big topic is that week that they want to cover. To say that they're all failed comedians or they all wanted to be comedians, that's a very low probability.
I feel like that was good. She doesn't get it.
Even a regular non-old YouTuber guy goes, what was that? And I reply, one of the comedy...
Yo, big up Shades Cow. I'm very curious as to what female the podcast... curious as to what female's doing a podcast by herself at the same time getting millions of views. Exactly whose level of Whitney thinks she is. Big up Shades Cow. If you're talking about women and you're not talking about like comedians, right? If you're talking about women and not comedians, I think if I had to guess off the top of my head, what woman would probably get millions of views doing a podcast by herself? I'd bet like some of those hot girls, like some of those like OF type of girls. Like who's that one girl? What's her name? Camilla something. She's like an OF girl that does like, I forgot her surname, but she does like a podcast. She might be able to get 1 million views. If Sophie Rain, the other popular OF girl, she did a podcast, I think she'd be able to get 1 million views. I think you'd have to be in that kind of, you'd have to be like sex worker adjacent. I'm not gonna like which just sounds horrible to say, but I think if you were, I don't even think Oprah would have 1 million views if she did the podcast by herself. I don't think so. Or maybe even that woman that's always number one on the podcast list. Who's that lady? There's that older blonde lady, right? That's always number one on the podcast list, and she does like a motivational podcast type of thing. She gets a lot of views on her pod, but her episodes are usually relying on having really good guests. I don't think I can think of a single woman who's doing a pod who would get loads of views who's not like sex worker adjacent. I don't think so. I can think of one. Maybe you guys are thinking in your heads. Even people like Michelle Obama, I don't think get loads of views on her thing. Oprah don't think would get anything. Who was a prominent woman out there? Oprah, Michelle Obama, obviously Hillary Clinton. If she ever did the podcast, I don't think would ever get 1 million views. Melania Trump, if she tried that, I don't think so. I don't think any of them. I think the only ones who had a chance of getting 1 million views solo would be one of those OF girls. That's all I can think of. OF girls. You know? Maybe.
Great, young one.
For like an older dude podcaster to troll me is like your DOS, dude.
The irony to call YouTubers covering comedy old, the thousands of YouTubers of all kinds talking about the state of comedy, is because comedy fans used to have good comedy to consume and talk about instead.
Oh, big up Josie. Good bet. Good up Josie. Good call out on that one. Those true crime bitches. Yeah, good call. I wish I could get the list up. There's actually a couple true crime podcasters, but they don't make YouTube videos, but they're very popular though. They would probably get a lot of views. A lot of those girls do it on their own, you know. Maybe, of course, they have teams to help them with the research, but they usually like narrate, you know, host those shows by themselves. So maybe, but there's not a lot. To be fair, there's not even a lot of male comedians that have a solo pod that get millions of views. Let's be honest. Let's not make it just a woman and man thing. Is there a lot of male comedians, or is there a lot of males out there who have a solo pod that gets millions of views? I can't think of many. You know? I don't know. I can't think of many. Millions of views of podcast. It's hard, man. Nowadays it's hard because there's so much content out there. There's so much competition, but it's difficult. Really difficult to get millions of views if you're a solo podcaster.
I don't think any of them realize quite yet that outside of someone like Shane Gillis's proven track record, the viewership and reviews add up across skits, TV series, comedy specials. People are actually hanging on for his next thing. Almost every other name at the moment can't say the same. Even Theo Von bombing at his own Netflix taping with his big fans present. Dave, now not being Dave.
By the way, have you guys heard of a repeat of that Netflix show? I haven't. I don't listen to Theo too often. I don't listen to his podcast too often. But have you guys heard of Theo mentioning that he's going to redo that Netflix episode? Or the Netflix stand-up comedy special, whatever he's filming? I've not heard him mention anything about it. I wonder if Netflix are like, you know what? We're good on that, mate. We're good. We're good on that. We're good on you. I hope he hasn't lost his chance. Hope they still come back around and let him re-record it, but I've not heard him mentioning it.
Bill Burr being whatever Bill Burr is now. Millions of people would rather watch the next Elephant Graveyard. That's what the numbers say. Even Andrew Schultz says ticket sales are down, and he's the crowd work Magoo master, so not looking good, guys.
Being an old, miserable guy who's mad at me for making it in comedy, it's not controversial. That's actually the default.
Alright, it's all just negative comment leavers who hate their success because they are X, Y, or Z. Jessica Curson and Tim Dillon can make me laugh. Shane Gillis sending jokes right over Joe's head makes me watch JRE again. These videos often mention Carlin, Bill Hicks Jones, Trevor Moore. I could do with another Joan Rivers, dishing truth like a 5-star Michelin, but that is rare. Unfortunately, the Nepo Club can't quite understand opinions yet, so give them time. Even though their whole job is mocking things, attempting to be funny, you'd think they'd understand YouTube rather than fuel it, but here we are.
Right? And it's all about originality now.
Oh yeah, these modern day comedians. Really original, real unique voices and insights. They've never lifted a joke from each other. They're that hardworking and care about the craft and da-da-da-da-da.
You volunteered to do my self-deprecating for me, and I don't pay you, but I guess you get paid by doing it. So I don't want to come for your job. Like, AI is already coming for you.
Alright, last point.
Big up MK. Was Elephant Graveyard's enjoying his break, man. Elephant Graveyard's enjoying his break. He's still enjoying the residuals off of that one video, man. Big up Elephant Graveyard, still enjoying the residuals of that one or the series of those videos. He's fucking living good. And also, I prefer it when creators like Elephant Graveyard take time between their uploads and actually, you know, put together a fucking really, really amazing video. I much prefer that than having him just churn out videos all the time. So, Elephant Graveyard, wherever you are, brother, take your fucking time. Relax, enjoy yourself, enjoy your winnings, enjoy your earnings, enjoy life. And when you're ready, we would love to hear from you again. You know, that video, bro, that shook up the industry, mate. That one video shook off the industry. It shook of like this. They still haven't recovered from that. It's still it's fucking crazy how they haven't recovered from that. The same way Brian Callen still hasn't recovered from people not liking his recent special, right? Brilliant. Big up Elephant Grave. That's real impact. That is a real fucking impact, man.
AI might get everyone. You're right, Whitney. 10 points. But it's coming for people that make 2 broke girls before it's coming for the millions of essential workers that keep society safe and operational. Even then, some roles will always need human supervision. Can't say the same for a Hollywood set. Generative AI is almost certainly gonna win the budget math with the big execs. Or YouTube, if we're being honest. Yes, the most famous people might be slightly insulated, but even for Joe Rogan, if you can generate an AI episode that is the exact same and you really can't tell anymore, then you flood the entire algorithm with a million of them, and then repeat that for literally everything out there. It's saturation overload, and it could really hurt all of the internet, essentially. But these podcasters love to pretend like they aren't YouTubers, so I guess they'll be fine. Even if the oversaturation slowly breaks all of our recommendation systems, well, the positivity bias is strong in the celebrity kind. Anyway, what's Joe up to again? Don't tell me it's just falling for AI on Twitter and talking about his love of AI classical versions of 50 Cent songs for the 17th time. Please. Wait, that's not Joe. Oh well.
They're gonna put this out and Bert Kreischer crashes out and
I really hope they don't.
And he's mentally broken and you know whatever they're gonna say. I never understood those guys. I never leave negative comments. I do leave comments, but
mentally broken, whatever they say. That's very precise wording, by the way. Bert Kreischer's mentally broken. Well, whatever they say. No, that was exactly what they said. Whatever they say. Oh, Bert, man.
always funny.
Bert appears on YouTube channels because of clips like this.
Never understood guys who leave shitty comments on like women's accounts. My daughters are going to be failures compared to you. They will make no one happy. I will be shocked if they get out from under my shadow. 2 white chicks, mediocre, not even that attractive.
Oh, your daughter?
Yeah. I don't find them hot. What am I wrong? And this is the reason I don't read comments is one day, one guy got in my head and this guy who I don't know kind of fucked my day up.
Or this.
Is like you're sitting there with with little to nothing to do, and you throw a hateful thing out, and then someone's like, fuck you, and now you're talking.
Yeah.
I was like, where's Leanne's labia been? And then I did research. Do you know that women in menopause lose their labia? But these young girls have crazy labias. Like, and I'm just like, well, that's a lot of labia, man. I'm 53.
That's all it is.
Jesus
but Bert's
Christ.
never going to acknowledge those
Disgusting.
moments. He's just going to throw on that Oculus and keep spinning these same bizarre narratives while, saying all that about his own family. One of only 250, the endangered comedian is trying its best to be funny. Just give it time. It's just painful that Bert can't accept some people won't like his stand-up. You still have your...
Yeah, big up Eduardo Madeira. What do you mean, brother? Eduardo Madeira, I just talked to my cousins from Texas and Idaho, so don't fail me at AZ. What are you talking about, brother? What are you referring to? Eduardo Madeira in the stream chat. What are you referring to, G? Let me know.
Core woo fans who love it, but it just isn't good enough. And H3N2, the news be saying, well, why is that an inverse of 2B?
Hold on. What? Is that another podcast he's got?
It's just painful that Bert can't accept some people won't like his stand-up.
Whoa. It might truly be over, ain't it? Holy shit, it might truly be over for Bert. This is his own channel. I never noticed this. Bert's own channel. An episode of Something's Burning featuring Mike Gibbons and Greg Fitzsimmons. 9.7k views. A clip with someone called Jordan Davis doing some song. 1.8 thousand views. An episode of Open Tabs, his show that he does by himself, like where he just reacts to stuff on the internet. 5.5 thousand views. Yikes. He's got like what? How many subscribers does he have on his channel?
Just give it time. It's just
1. He's got 1.5 million subscribers on his Bert channel, and he can't break 10,000 views on his podcast. That's like an hour long. Holy shit. How are they paying all these staff, man? They've got to have so many ads and sponsors. How the fuck are they paying all these people that work for them? That's what I'm wondering. Because this, for like a solo person, you know, like me just sitting at home, this is a good living, right? You get those views. This is a good living. But if you've got this, if you've got the fucking infrastructure, if you've got the business that revolves around YMH or revolves around Bert, you're paying a lot of people's salaries. Like, how are you affording all these salaries? How are you affording the salary, whatever it costs to keep Leanne from not divorcing you, putting your kids through school, and all the stuff that he likes to do with these views? Jesus Christ. That also might explain why they do Netflix deals, though. I think that's the whole point. Maybe you become so famous, you do the Netflix deals, and then that money ends up, you know, giving you the runway to continue doing all these other things. I don't know, but 1.5 million views and you're only getting 5.5k views on your pod is fucking crazy.
Painful that Bert can't accept some people won't like his stand-up. You still have your core woo fans who love it,
bad the numbers
but it just
are.
isn't good enough. And H3N2, the news be saying, well, why is that an inverse of 2B1C?
New episode of Two Bears, 1K. Tommy, I had my first threesome.
One cave.
1K. What did I say?
1K.
God damn it.
They're also in the news. It seems the Paws Segura and Mrs. Segura are currently, according to the Most High TMZ, stuck in the Caribbean islands. Best of luck making it back to podcasting with Bert, Tom. I'm assuming that was a pre-recorded episode as
Yeah, big up Adora Madeira. Appreciate it, brother. Big up Adora Madeira. Get the kind words, brother.
yeah, this is Two Bears. Sorry, Tom, I had to cut you off there. How are the fans going to stop being Paws with a sponsor like that? A mystery for the ages.
I remember I had a social media team who, like, at the time they were trying to take down anyone that said anything negative about me.
Oh, there it is. Finally lets that slip. Finally something funny.
And it was like this bad video about me, and he was like, hey man, I watched it. And I was like, how bad is it? And he was like, it's not that bad. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I mean, it's not that bad.
Thanks, Bert. Keep it up, buddy.
How many jackets do you have?
Hundreds. It is more anxiety inducing to have this overwhelming abundance of like stuff. And I know it's like
by the way, go back to that comment he made about I've had some people looking at my account to take stuff down on the internet. I love how that when he mentioned about hiring a team, hiring people to try and take down negative things about him on YouTube. I love how he mentioned it in a way like he didn't hire them. He mentioned it as if it was something like they floated to him and he was against it. Or I had this team and they gave this, they presented me with this really stupid idea, really insane idea about removing all the negative. I mean, you hired them because you wanted to have stuff taken down from the internet. Why are you making it seem like they're the ones that try to persuade you to have stuff taken down from the internet that wasn't good or that was negative? It's like, it's like, no, brother. They didn't just hire themselves. You hired them because you know exactly what their expertise are, which is kind of maybe helping your PR online. They tried to make it sound like they're the ones that suggested it to him. It's like, come on, man. Come on.
Boo-hoo comment. People will be like, oh, I got too much stuff. It's true.
Oh yeah, 2026 economy. It's hard out there for those with a museum of shirts to choose from. 1,000 pairs of shoes makes you feel lousy, guys. You wouldn't understand such a struggle. Maybe he can appear on Free Bert, his new Netflix show where Bert tries to fit into elite Beverly Hills schools while his daughters attend. Riveting. And Christina, well, she doesn't do a show with Bert, so congratulations.
Yeah, let's leave that there. Let's fucking leave that there. But big up comedy, Retroactive, not Comedy Enforcer. Big up Retroactive, one of my favorites. Glad to see him back out there, still doing the damn thing. Always great observations, always great insight from Retroactive. The rich people ice, my cold plungers warming. Exactly, rich people ice. His Bert thinks the video is bad, just wait until they ship. Tom looks terrible. I used to listen to 5 to 6 different comedy podcasts a week. Now listen, exactly, look at that. People in the stream chat, what do you guys think? This is a great comment, by the way. This is a great comment. I think a lot of people are like this. Even I'm not, because I do this fucking show, so I'm fucking forced listening to all this shit. But I think most regular people were like this at one point. Most regular people used to listen to 5 to 6 different comedy and podcasts a week. Now they're probably down to 1, maybe 2, maybe some of you even 0. Some of you guys have said on the stream before in the chat that you only watch this stuff because I watch it. you only get your podcast listening consumption through me on other channels. You don't actually even listen to them directly. You go and get summaries of these shows from other channels. Like, it's like, god damn, man, it's so over, isn't it? It's people. There's people out there that haven't watched a single minute of the Fire and the Kid, but they get all their Fire and the Kid analysis or breakdowns from fucking unique podcast cringe and whatnot. I bet you there's people out there who've never watched an episode of TFATK. They just get it from all the detractor channels. I'll just watch it from some other guy. I'm not gonna sit. Yeah, exactly. Big up Kudosi. I used to listen to a lot. I probably subbed to 12 or 15 at the peak. There are none left. Wow. Big up David Camp. I don't believe that, by the way. I don't think that's true. Elephant Grave would have a better chance to get a Netflix deal than most of 200. I don't think so. I don't think Netflix will be brave enough to. They should. Don't get me wrong. I'd love it if Elephant Grave got a Netflix deal, but I don't think they're that brave. Because if they did, then all the comedians look, these comedians are trying to get YouTube documentary videos taken down. What do you think they would do if they found out Elephant Graveyard was negotiating with Netflix for a deal? All those comedians' agents will be calling up fucking Ted Sarandos or Ted Sarando, whatever his fucking name is, and getting him to fucking renege on the deal. They would definitely they would go crazy behind the scenes trying to fuck him over on that deal. They already go crazy when it comes to abusing copyright, takedowns, and all that shit. They would not let him get that deal, no way, shape, or form. But yeah, same here with my big up Layla Rude. Same here with my exception of me torturing myself and listening to that by myself. Then with you guys, big up Apex Putter, 15 to 20 before his peak, now 2 to 3. Every once in a while, Jack Donny Jr. I'll put my bad friends or the regs on, but not subbed. Yeah. There are some comedy podcasts. Those are 2 good examples, Jack Donny Jr. I think Bad Friends in the Regs generally is pretty good. There are some good comedy podcasts out there. I think Matt and Shane is generally still quite good. I think what's that one? What's that? Are You Garbage? I think is generally quite good in terms of funny jokes and shit. Shit, it starts to get thin after that, innit? It starts to get thin after that. When you think about what can you put in the background that's not gonna annoy you. The Regs, I think in general. Bad Friends in general. Matt and Shane, I think in general. Are You Garbage in general. Shit, it gets kind of thin after that, innit? What can you put in the background that's not gonna offend you? That you still listen to now? I can't think of the fifth one. I wouldn't say rap. Nah, I'm not the biggest fan of rap personally. I don't know. There's not many, basically. There's not many. The point is, there's not many. There's not really many. JRE is very guest dependent. Like the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon recently was so good. The Ben Affleck and Matt Damon was really good. But JRE is very, very guest dependent. Very, very guest dependent. Before in the past, Joe Rogan, you just put it on. Doesn't matter who's on. But now, JRE, you're only watching it if the guest is good. Or if you like the guest, you know, if you're a fan of the guest and you don't mind listening to Rogan, you put it on. But yeah, anyway, great point by this guy, man. Fucking great fucking point. Let's move on. 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 Let's move on.